Once you guys stop reinstalling Windows, the easiest way to fix this problem is to clone your drive. We have a mini PC here, but you can do it on a computer. And we're going to be cloning the 512 gigabyte drive that's in here, which is our system drive, to a larger 2 terabyte drive, which involves using cloning software. We're going to be using EaseUS Disk Copy to clone the system drive to a larger 2 terabyte NVMe drive. This mini PC has two M.2 slots, which makes the job a lot easier. Now, you can do this externally with an enclosure and things like that, but we're going to be using the internal M.2 slot here, which is free, and put in a 2 terabyte drive inside this mini PC. The mini PC is not that important. You could use a desktop PC, which has slots on the board available to you, or you could use riser cards, which will look something like this, that slots into a PCI Express slot. And if you're going to use an external enclosure or an NVMe drive, make sure it's got a Type-C connection on it and it's USB 4 or something like that, or Thunderbolt supported. This is our drive on the system here, and we're going to be using this 2 terabyte drive to upgrade this drive to a larger drive. Now, the drive that's already in there is only 512 gigabytes. And if you want to upgrade from a 512 gigabyte drive to a 2 terabyte drive or a 1 terabyte drive, you can do. You just need to plug it into the available slot here and screw it down. Once we've done this, we can use software to clone from one drive to the other. And then we can either replace that small 512 gig drive with this big one afterwards, or we can just leave them as they are and then boot to the new drive and then erase the other drive. It's entirely up to you. I've got a thermal pad on here just temporarily, just to keep it nice and cool until the cloning is over, because it might get a little bit hot. All we need to do now is screw down the cover, and we can then boot up to the mini PC or the desktop PC or laptop or whatever it is you're using to clone the drive on. So let's get to the desktop and get the software downloaded. Now, if we take a look at the disk management here by right-clicking on the Start button and clicking Disk Management, you can see that there is our new 2 terabyte drive right there. The top one, disk 0, is our system drive, and that's what we want to clone over to our new 2 terabyte drive to expand the storage on this system. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some software to make it nice and easy for us. Now, if you're new to computers or you're not very tech savvy, then you can use this method, which I'm going to show you, because it's super easy and super fast. It's probably one of the fastest ways to clone your drive to a new drive. So let's go ahead, and what we're going to do here is we're going to head over to the internet and we're going to get our software ready. So let me close off the disk management for the time being, and we'll go to our browser. So all you need to do here is basically download the Disk Copy software. This is compatible with Windows 11, you can see right there. And this makes upgrading your hard drive to an SSD faster and easier. It also makes upgrading from a smaller drive to a larger drive super easy. And it's quick to migrate all your old operating system over to a new drive. And if you've got an old computer and you're upgrading to a new computer, this is perfect. So what we're going to do is download it. It works with Windows 11, Windows 10, Windows 8, and Windows 7 here. So I'm going to click on the download It's Free right here. And we're going to click on this, and it says follow the 3 steps. So the file has now been downloaded, and you can see there's some offers on here which you can claim if you're looking to purchase this software. So what we're going to do is click on the executable file that we just downloaded, and we'll install this onto the PC. Say yes to the user account control, and you should see the application opening up and install on your system. We're just going to let this install. Now I'll show you the whole process because it is pretty quick. It's probably the quickest cloning software on the market today. Now the good thing about this software is once it's installed, it's going to detect our brand new drive in that computer. You can see already a new drive on the computer was found. Do you want to migrate your operating system to the new drive? At this stage, I'm going to say yes, because that's exactly what I want to do. So migrating OSs is easy. Just select the target disk and select Start Migration and wait for the completion. It's already selected my Windows drive, and it's now going to migrate that over and clone it over basically to our new 2 TB Western Digital Black drive. Now, this software also has some other options available. This is what we're concentrating on today. We're in system mode right here, but there's also partition mode and disk mode. You can use either of these modes for doing different things. If you want to clone partitions, you can do, and if you want to do disk mode, that's another option. But we're concentrating on the system mode for this video. There is also emergency disk and network clone as well. So let's select system mode. And from here, we're going to leave this setting as is because it's perfectly correct. And we're going to click on next. So disk 0 is our 512 GB system drive. And our new disk is disk 1, which is our 2 TB Western Digital Black. You can see it's going to basically clone exactly that drive over to our new drive. So we've got sector by sector copy there. I'm going to leave that unchecked and we're going to leave it as it is. Now we're on a trial mode here, but I do have a pro key, which I've purchased some time ago because I've used this software before. So before I proceed, you can see auto fit the disk, or copy as source, or edit the disk, but we're going to leave it as auto fit the disk. I'm not going to use sector by sector copy. And when we click proceed, it says upgrade to enjoy full features. And you can see there's some features that you can get if you upgrade. I already have a license, which I've used before and I've purchased before. So I'm going to go ahead and click I already have a code or a license. I'm going to paste in my code right here and I'm going to click on activate. This will verify my license code and it's basically going to check with their servers to see whether it's a legit code. And it is because I purchased it. And you can see it's now telling us the data on the target disk will be erased. We are now be able to use the full pro edition of this software because that's what we purchased. So I'm going to click continue here and it's basically going to erase our new disk and copy or clone that exact 512 GB system drive over to our new 2 TB drive. It should only take a couple of minutes, so we're just going to leave this as is. And you can see all of the text going down the screen on what it's actually doing. And once it's complete, it will pop up a message asking you to reboot the system. And do you want to automatically adjust the boot order to boot to the new target disk, which is our new 2 TB drive. Now you can do this if you want to. I'm going to be removing the old 512 GB drive and putting the 2 TB drive into that 512 GB slot that we had. But I'll show you both methods. We're going to reboot the system and let it automatically adjust the boot order. You can do this inside the BIOS yourself, but this is for real beginners that don't know anything about the BIOS or how to set things up. So what we're going to do is we're going to click reboot now and let it reboot the system. Now, if we look at disk management, you'll see that it's made an identical clone of the original 512 GB drive and cloned that over to our new 2 TB drive. Now, you could remove the 512 GB drive and swap them round. That's exactly what I'm going to do, but I'll do this method first where I reboot to the new 2 TB drive using that option right here. Now you can go into the BIOS and do this yourself. So let's go ahead and reboot now, and it's going to restart the PC and we're going to let it boot back up. And then once that's booted back up, you'll see that it's booting to our new 2 TB drive. So I'll speed this process up so we can get back to the desktop and you should be able to see the task has been completed successfully. So let's go into File Explorer here, this PC, and there is our drive, disk A, and there is our 2 TB drive. It's using that to boot to. Now, I don't like that setup, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to shut this down and basically change over the drives. So here we are back inside the mini PC. And all I need to do now is I'm going to remove the 512 GB drive. And you can put this into the second slot and erase that drive and use it as storage if you want to. but I'm going to be replacing that with another 2 terabyte drive for extra storage. So this will be removed from the mini PC. So this was our old system drive right here. And all I need to do now is move over our 2 terabyte drive over to the other M.2 slot. And if I had another spare drive, which is blank, I could put that into that slot right here. So let me go ahead and move this over and we'll boot back up. And it should automatically change the drive letters from A to C, and everything should work perfectly fine. Let me just push this down right here and just put this holding screw back in so it holds the drive in position. And now if I wanted to put a spare drive in there, I could do, but I'm just going to leave this blank for now and I'll do this at a later date. This is the old system drive. If I wanted to use that as a spare storage, I could do, but I'm not going to in this case. So let me put this all back together and boot up to the new drive. So now we're booting up to our new drive, and there we go. We're at the desktop. It's an absolute identical copy of our 512 gigabyte drive. And if I go to disk management here, you'll see we only have one drive in here now, and everything looks fine. That's exactly how it should look. We still have the software installed on the system because it's a clone. And now we can take a look at our C drive here. Let me just quickly go to File Explorer here, this PC, and there we go. You can see we have all that storage space available to us. And that's pretty much it. So you can upgrade from hard drives to SSDs, or hard drive to NVMe drives, or a smaller NVMe like you see here to a larger NVMe drive. It's entirely up to you. This software will have you covered. My name has been Brian from briteccomputers.co.uk. Give the video a thumbs up and I shall catch you in the next video. Bye for now.